Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Bad call.
Some are good for fighting, others for dying.
It's Just Two Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Just Two Movies, where we watch a good movie and then maybe the other movie's good, maybe it's not. Usually not. Either ways, it just looks like a hot piece of trash. Usually, not always though.
Usually.
Nasty Nate, welcome back to the. Do you mind if I call you Nasty Nate?
Yeah, it's great. I don't care.
You love it.
I love it. Call me Nasty Nate.
I love it. Actively love it. That's how I introduce myself to people. Hi, I'm Nasty Nate. Nate, you picked the movie this week. It was my choice last time, and we went with Arrival, right?
Yes.
And a real bad movie about aliens coming to Earth.
I don't remember a thing about it anymore.
It was the Outpost, Alien Outpost.
Oh yeah, Alien Outpost. It was terrible. Yeah.
There wasn't anything to remember about it. I remember it was shot as like an interview type thing. Anyway, doesn't matter. So we're here to talk about two different movies this week, and Nate selected what would have been a good pick for summer break, or would have been a good pick for the Ween, our Halloween related episode. Not to say that I wasn't going to put this on my you picked What We Do in the Shadows, which is probably my favorite vampire thing that exists. Had you seen this before you picked it, or were you just like kind of knew about it and wanting an excuse to watch it? Or
I watched the show first. I got an ad for it, and I was like, "This seems interesting," because I also liked the The Office when it was going on air, and it was like that looks similar. I like vampires. Sure, I'll take a look at this.
You love a vampire, a werewolf, a mythic beast. I do too. Like Nyla, man, I like that shit. It's fun.
It's a fun topic.
Yeah.
And I'm quite impressed with how it's pretty much what you would imagine just a standard vampire premise, where they can't go out they're stuck in the moonlight. They can't go out in daytime. Crucifixes, garlic, whatnot. Just a standard vampire. All
those great classic tropes.
Yeah, classic tropes. Modern day. Office-style documentary.
Humor's good.
Oh, it's great.
Very funny.
I fell in love with the show. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen the movie that the show is based on.
Okay, we've talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
Oh, you and I talked about it specifically?
Yeah, we've talked about it off show.
Was I like, you should watch the movie?
Yes.
Also, it's really good.
Yeah.
See, now, from my recollection, I had thought that they just turned this movie into a show and recast everybody.
No.
Not the case.
It's
totally different group of vampires. These guys are in New Zealand.
In the show, it's in...
The TV show, they're in Staten Island?
Staten Island, yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit about this before we get too much into it. If you're out there and you've seen the show and haven't seen the movie, or vice versa, and you're like, I don't know about a recast, no, it's not that. They're two totally separate groups of people. But this is a 2014 horror comedy, 1 hour, 26-minute runtime. It has a pretty astounding score across the board. 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 76% on Metacritic, 93% of Google users like this movie. Release date February 13, 2015 in the US. Directed by Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. Budget about $1.6 million, and I don't have box office anywhere.
It was a movie that was released on independent film premises. It was TIFF, I believe. So
probably not a ton, or I would imagine it probably broke close to even.
Right.
Out of the stars, Taika Waititi, Jermaine Clement, Stewart Rutherford, Jonathan Berg? Probably Berg, you think? B-R-U-G-H.
B-R-U-G-H.
Jonathan Bruh. Reese Darby and Corey Gonzalez McCure. Nate, be kind enough and tell the good folks out there what this movie's about. Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. It is a...
You can't really spoil this. I mean, we already talked about it. It's just a documentary.
Yeah. There's not really a storyline per se. There kind of is. because it is a mockumentary, so there kind of is a story that's kind of moving along. It's about some vampires that share a New Zealand flat.
God, these were when mockumentaries were so hot.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I didn't see it when it came out.
Mm.
Like, I don't think I watched this until probably 2 years later.
Because there are already quite a few out there.
No, more than that. This was 2014. I probably didn't watch this until like 2019, maybe 2018. Dude, there were a ton of mockumentaries out there. I got sick of seeing them, man. They were on all the fucking time. So this came out during that boom, although I will say I think this is top tier mockumentary. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because a lot of mockumentaries just went straight to TV shows. This was just a movie.
And a delightful one at that. I like I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it. We're probably not going to do the whole story beat for beat because there actually is quite a bit. Like the comedy's so fast and snappy. There's just too much.
Something I will say about the comedy, it probably won't work with many audiences because it is a New Zealand comedy. The line delivery, it's very specific. It's a
little different than we're used to for an American comedy. But like, if you like American comedy and British comedy, you'll find your niche in there.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of from what I understand, New Zealand and Australia and that part of the world, they consume a lot of American media. Yeah. Like our movies, our TV shows and stuff like that. So I like the way they intro this movie, and Taika Waititi's like introducing you to all the. He like wakes up first, and he's talking to the documentary guy, and he's like, "Well, let me introduce you to everyone in the house." So it's really funny the way they're all different renditions of vampires. You know what I mean? I guess Taika Waititi, you would describe him as he's kind of a dandy.
He's from mid-19th century.
Mid-19th century Europe.
Yeah. I think they're all from Europe.
Oh, well, yeah, I think that is the case. But like Jermaine Clement, he's like from a much older 17th century or something like that. He's like, I'm 16. Of course, life was rough back then for a 16-year-old.
I think he was actually in 9th century. One of them was 9th century.
Yeah, so fucking old school. And then
medieval.
You've got another guy, and he's just like the bad boy, like the Tom Cruise in Interview with the Vampire bad boy. Not present day because he still wore like frills and weird shit, but
I think he was.
He seemed of a much more modern attitude.
Early 20th century, if I remember.
Okay, gotcha.
Because he was a Hitler zombie.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's like, man. He's like, if you were, so I was a Nazi, and then, I got turned into a vampire, and being a vampire Nazi was great, and then the war ended, and let me tell you, man, if you were a vampire, not good. If you were a Nazi vampire, even worse. Forget about it.
A great line delivery.
So they do a lot of these like separated interviews between the guys. You get to meet all the different ones. Jermaine Clement plays Vladislav the Poker. So you've got Deacon, who's the kind of the modern guy, Vladislav and Viago, right?
I believe so.
Okay, cool. And
Peter.
Yeah, and Peter, right? Peter's like a Nosferatu looking guy.
He is 8,000 years old.
He's fucking terrifying to look at, is what he is. He's very creepy. He's wearing some very fun prosthetic teeth. But yeah, he's got the Nosferatu thing going on. And like the vampires are all scared of him. Like just a little bit, They're like, he's a good guy. He's our friend. But they're also terrified of him. Yeah. I love it. So you meet the guys. You get intro to all the characters, and then they decide they're going out for the night on the town. And I really love the sequence of them like getting dressed and talking about like how they dress each other because they're looking in mirrors and they don't have a reflection.
Yeah, they can't see what they look like in the mirror because, classic vampire trope. Which I love that they keep that stuff in this film. Mm-hmm. I love that they added all that. And they just kind of build on that.
They're just like, they get dressed and then they come out and they do like a little fashion catwalk thing. Yeah. And another one will try to sketch their outfit. And then they'll just try to like verbally describe it to him. Be like, this is what you look like. But it's fun, man. It's a funny idea to imagine these guys go out, 3-4 times a week, just out on the town and have to go through this whole fucking ordeal about just putting clothes on. And all of them are dressed poorly. When they go to leave, all of them look just insane. Like they're walking. He's like, it's kind of nice to know not everybody knows we're vampires. The guy's like, vampire, and just shouts it at him on the street because they all are dressed like you would expect like vampires. Yeah.
So once they go on to town, they kind of explain to the camera is that there's a abnormally large amount of vampires in this specific town. What was it called?
Hold on, I have it written. Wellington.
Yes, that sounds right. Wellington, New Zealand. There's an abnormally high volume of vampires in the population. So they just walk up. They're continuously coming in encounter with a bunch of other vampires.
Yeah, she's like, they run into the two little girls, twin girls. And
they explain that when you turn into a vampire, that's what age you stay for the rest of your afterlife.
So you get these two young girls and they're vampires. She's like, what are you guys going to do? Get some sex criminals? And she's like, oh, I'm going to eat a pedophile. And he's like, oh yeah, pedophile, cool. They're just like, their casual conversation about it's really funny. I liked the addition of Deacon's familiar.
Oh, yeah.
That was played by, I don't think I said her name up top. Let me find her real quick. That would be Jackie Van Beek. Yeah, who plays Jackie in the thing. Oh, I guess I should probably mention Ben Fransham plays Peter. Petyr.
Petyr.
Like the sweet spelling of Peter.
Ah.
Yeah, boy.
The spelling of Peter if you were to be 8,000 years old.
Yeah.
You kind of deserve to have the fun spelling.
Yeah, that's cool. He's fucking terrifying though.
I definitely love the makeup throughout this whole film.
Oh yeah, it's great. So you meet the familiar and she's like, oh yeah, it's very much like the way they set up the show, where she's like, oh yeah, I'm a familiar. He's my boss. I do whatever, and he's gonna turn me into a vampire. And then I'm like, I gotta do none of this shit. She's like, I'll just fucking feast on people. I'll be a power hungry fucking son of a bitch. She's loving it.
Yeah.
And it's like her taking like food orders for them. To go find them victims to bring to their house.
I didn't even realize that till now. I was like, okay, so they're writing down preferences. It didn't even click in my head that it was like preferences of food.
It's like, he's like, it cuts back to one of the interviews. He's like, why do we eat virgins? I don't know. Fucking sounds cool.
Sounds cool.
So they've got victims, and Jermaine Clement is supposed to be the best at like turning into beasts. And now he sucks at it.
He can't get the faces right.
Right. So there's a bit when one of their victims is like escaping from the house and he's just a cat. He's
with
just like
his face.
With Jermaine Clement's face. Oh my God, dude, it floored me. I had forget. It's been a while since I've seen this, and man, this shit is. You could just put this movie on a loop. There's so many good gems in there.
There's so many great quotes that I would like to keep in my back pocket.
Oh yeah,
and just use at times that necessary. My friend got killed in a fatal sunlight accident.
Right, get that fucking camera out of here. Our friend was just killed in a fatal sunlight accident.
We are werewolves, not swearwolves.
Right, yeah. So the victim actually escapes the house, and Peter got him. He just was like outside, and everybody's like, "Oh, Peter got him. Poor guy." just like, oh man, that sucks. That sucks.
Turn around, and go back inside.
Yeah, like, who let Peter out? Like, he can't open the door, I guess. No, it's delightful. So they run into werewolves, and that's very funny stuff. Like, the werewolf guys are really funny, and I guess like the head one plays by Rhys Darby. And who I guess
he's the alpha of the pack.
Yeah, he's the alpha of the pack. And I get, like, in real life, I guess him and Taika Waititi are great friends. He's I don't know if Taika Waititi's making it. You know what? I'll just look it up real quick. Okay, so yeah, they have a series, Reese Darby and Taika Waititi, called Our Flag Means Death on HBO. It's an HBO Max series.
I heard about that.
Creator David Jenkins and executive producer Taika Waititi. Very loosely based on 18th century adventurers and hilarious misadventures of the self-proclaimed gentleman pirate Steve Bonnet, played by Reese Darby. Yeah, so they're in that. I guess
Steve
they're
Bonnet. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what. Okay. That's
So
interesting.
they're buddies, I guess, or they certainly have worked on multiple projects together. But he's very funny in this too. When he's
I'll have to give that a shot when it comes out.
Yeah, it's out.
Oh, it's out.
You can watch it. I just haven't watched it yet. Reviews for it are pretty good. I guess it's like Reese Darby and Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi plays like Blackbeard the pirate, and they're gay.
Oh,
So they're at least having a relationship
a
or
lot
something.
of pirates. In case you didn't know, a lot of pirates did have homosexual relationships. Because when you're out on seas for weeks to months,
You just have to fuck a butt.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whose it is, I guess.
yeah, and that's kind of what is assumed where the term matey comes from. It's assumed that that's where that term comes
That
from.
is weird. Assumed by whom?
Good question. I assume it's
A lot of assumptions.
historians.
A lot of assumptions going on.
Yeah,
here.
a lot of assumptions.
Let's see here. We'll see some history. If you're a historian, come on this podcast. Set the story
Set
straight.
the record straight.
Get into contact with us at itsjusttwomovies@gmail.com. At itsjusttwomovies on Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, or any other place. Leave us a comment, whatever. That'd be cool. Anyway, back to this movie where there's vampires and werewolves and stuff, and they're like, hey, fucking, don't pee on our shit, motherfucker. And they're like, what does that mean? Fuck you. Hey, what? What are we? We're werewolves, not swearwolves.
Not werewolves, not swearwolves.
I like the bit at the end when there's the full moon coming out or whatever, and they're all getting ready to change. He's trying to get them to chain themselves up to trees. And he's like, fucking put the chain on. He's like, hey, we're not swearwolves. He's like, fuck off, Gary, or whatever he says.
Full moon night.
Yeah. So the one that Peter got out in the lawn or out in the garden, his name's Nick. And you meet Nick. He starts coming by the house or whatever and hanging out with the other vampires.
2 weeks later, I believe was showed up on the screen.
Yeah, so he's been hanging out or whatever, and Nick brings his buddy Stu, who's just a normal human man.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of dumb, but I guess Nick's trying to mind control him a little bit, so he forgets he's a vampire, even though he very
keeps
obviously
mind
has
controlling
vampire
him
teeth.
to make sure that he doesn't notice that he's a vampire.
Nice.
Because he doesn't want it's his best. He's his best friend, and he doesn't want that burden to be on him.
Yeah, he's like, Stu's my best mate. I can't very well go online to him, can I? But what would you say if someone told you
He wants to
were a
eat him,
vampire?
but he can't because he's his best friend.
Yeah, right. So he finally confronts Stu, and then Stu just keeps coming to the house and hanging out, and he's like everybody's favorite. It's like the next scene, what's his name? He's like knitting a
scarf.
He's like, I'm knitting a scarf for Stu. This color will really bring out his eyes. Very funny shit, man.
Trying to teach Taekwondo.
Oh,
and he's like doing butterfly kicks in the air.
Oh, hell yeah. He's like, wow, good job. Because he can fucking float. All the flying and the little touches to be vampires, right?
I love it.
It's very funny. Put together really well. It's very, very clever. I think about the way they portray the vampires in this, personally, I think there's nothing not to like.
There's definitely a lot of character with these characters.
Yeah. The only thing that I would take umbrage with is how Taika Waititi can't successfully eat anybody. He's terrible at feeding, but that's the thing they do.
He's been doing for over 150 years, something like that.
Yeah, a very long time. But he's so terrible at it. He's like, when I'm gonna eat somebody, he's like, I like to. I like ladies, and I like to make sure they're comfortable. I show them a lovely evening. We have a date. Then I bring him back to the home, and he's like, "Tell me about your plans for the future." And he's
newspapers.
He's got a stack of towels, and he's putting down newspaper on the floor.
So he's not making a huge mess.
Oh,
except
God,
he does.
Funny. Yeah, because he's like, I hit the main artery. And it's a mess in there. And it is absolutely a bloodbath.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah. Very funny stuff, but it happens more than once, where they allude to it. If it was just the one time, it would be pretty funny, like, oh, he's just clumsy at it, but no, he's straight up bad at it. Like real bad at it.
Almost like he's too focused on not making a mess to where he ends up making a mess anyways.
Oh, yeah. And then he's like, just covered in blood. He's like, I think she had a nice time, though. Like, I think she had a nice night. That's his fucking thing about it. There's a bit where Nick and Deacon get into a fight, and they have a bat fight.
So first, Nick, since he's been a vampire for 2 weeks, he is so excited that he's telling everybody that he's a vampire.
He's like, "Oh, you seen Twilight? That's me. I'm the main.
Twilight.
I'm the main
Twilight.
guy. I'm Twilight from the movie."
You're not Twilight, man.
We could be professional New Zealand actors. You know, probably pull it off. Yeah, probably get in there. Give me your best. Give me what's a good Kiwi? Good Kiwi bit of slang.
I don't know any Kiwi slang. The only New Zealand stuff that I know is because I listen and I watch Internet Historian, and that's about it.
Well, I know that people from Australia call people from New Zealand sheepshaggers, and then people from New Zealand call people from Australia sheepshaggers.
Yeah.
So
a bit of friendly rivalry.
I guess
rivalry there.
Yeah. We're both islands. Fucking, we both have almost the exact same accent. Slightly different.
Slightly different.
It's like the difference between here and Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where's Chicago? Yeah, get a slice.
That's closer to New York, actually.
Well, yeah, they don't say slice in Chicago, I don't think. Yeah, that's true. You got me. I had it one day. I had it pegged on here. Which one's which? Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Hey, go get a hot dog. That's hot dog is Chicago. Hot dog.
Chicago.
Hot dogs, New York.
Because Chicago is a good mix of big city, New York, Pittsburgh area with the closer to Canada area with Minnesota and whatnot. So you've got that Minnesota, Chicago kind of accent going on.
That's it. Some of that weird Midwestern.
Upper Midwest. Yeah.
Getting cold out. Take your fucking coat, hey. Anyway, well, back to the thing we were talking about. Yeah, so they get in a bat fight though, because he's like, "Stop! You're not fucking Twilight, mate. Stop telling everybody, or we're gonna fucking you piece of shit." So they have a bat fight because they're drunk. They've been out partying or whatever, and the guys are like, "Bat fight," and it looked pretty good. Like the bit where he throws him into the door and he turns back
into human while he's still holding Nick. Nick was still a bat, and of which he got thrown into a garage. Was it garage? Garage door. Ripped his coat, of which was almost exactly the same as Deacon's coat, which is why he was upset.
Right. Yeah. Rip my coat. I don't give a fuck about your coat, mate. So it's like the next day, Peter dies.
Yeah, the next day they wake up. They're hearing screaming from the basement, which is where Peter is locked up in his concrete sarcophagus. There's just fire and brimstone everywhere. He's burning up. Vlad runs off, grabs some water, comes back. It was like a wine bottle full of water.
Right.
It was very pitiful.
Right. And then he's like, "I was too late." No. It's just that it was like a cup of water. It was like a... Oh my God, that's fucking crazy. So after Peter dies, the cops come poking around because the neighbors called the cops or whatever, as they would.
Before that, they were trying to figure out what caused this, and they saw the broken window and they saw a body, of which on his body was
stakes and a crucifix,
holy water, whatnot. And of which they saw the crucifix, they were freaking out and were trying to cover it up with the coat. And they're like, once they got it covered, they're like, okay, all right, it's all good.
Right. Like it's not even there anymore. I fucking love the silly vampire shit. Like, they're very good. The individual actors in this are very good at I wouldn't even say overly, like they're so dedicated to
the role.
Yeah, that it's phenomenal. Even if it is like jokey and hokey and a mockumentary and all this stupid shit, they are all in.
Yeah, it is. They are fully committed to the role
at 100%,
which really does make or break a film.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think this is good direction too.
Oh yeah.
Not of course, in the coming years after this movie was made, we would see great things from Taika Waititi, and these other guys as well. But they figure out it was a vampire hunter, and Nick is down there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, fucking no, I know that guy. I remember that guy. What'd you tell me you were a fucking vampire?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I told him I was a vampire. He said he was a vampire hunter. I thought he was just having a laugh, you know." I just gave him my email, and they're like, "You son of a bitch!" And they banish Nick from the house.
Well, first they start fighting, and that's kind of what got the police to arrive.
Yeah, they're like, "So there was smoke and fire and no
Screaming.
small amount of shrieking."
And
I love it when they act like they're gonna fight and they like chest to chest, but they float up in the air to do it and fucking. Oh my god, it's so fucking stupid. Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Like I almost feel like I had help writing this. Like if somebody was like, "Hey, why don't you come help us make this movie?" I go, "What it's about? Well, what's it about?" And they said, "Vampires, Billy." Let me see that script.
You gotta have the stupid screeching.
Yeah, let me get that script, a highlighter, a Sharpie, and a pen. I'm gonna make just a couple edits, because this is in my neck of the woods for just for comedy in general. Yeah. Like this is the sort of thing that's made for. I'm the audience for this because it's right in my wheelhouse of shit that I think is absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, this film is amazing.
Yeah. So the cops come and have a poke around, and they get they hypnotize the cops.
Which one was it that hypnotized them? It was the 18th century guy.
Yeah, Taika Waititi's character. I can't remember his name.
He hypnotized them, but he said, "I'm not very good at it."
Yeah, he's like they could become unhypnotized like any second.
And like throughout the whole time that the police are there, they're like, "Wait a second, there's no smoke alarms."
Right. Oh, no. See that? No smoke alarm in here.
Yes, there is. Oh, yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so there is. Just keeps re-hypnotizing him. Oh, never mind. There is.
Who's this guy? He's drunk. He's just drunk.
He's our friend. He's drunk. And she's like, "Well, you're not very good friends. He's not good. He's going to wake up feeling horrible, isn't he? Get him a blanket." Like, "Oh, I got the concrete on him, keeping him warm, you know." She's like, "Well, it's not very comfortable." Just chews his ass for that. And they're like, "All right, you guys have a good night. Think about, some of the stuff we said about smoke alarms. Get that addressed, We don't have to come back." It just, the whole bit with the cops had me dying, good. Man. Very, very
they're
funny
like
stuff.
Floating, attached to the ceiling, looking up at him, being like, "Hey, how's your night?"
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
It's great. One of my favorite scenes from this film.
It probably is mine too. So they banish Nick from the house, and they have a ball to go to. What's it called? The Midnight Masquerade or something like that.
The Unholy Masquerade.
Unholy Masquerade, right? Which is part of the show too. I believe one of the season's climaxes at the Unholy Masquerade.
It's some version of it, some American version of it, because there is something that is established in the show is that there is not only local but also worldwide vampire councils going on. Like there is an actual established underground government for the vampires and all unholy beings, whether it's zombies and witches and whatnot.
I love that when they go to the thing and the guy's talking to the zombie. Oh man, it was cracking me up. That's really good dialogue.
It is great. I love it.
There's a B story here the whole time also about Taika Waititi's character, how he was in love with this girl and she gave him a silver locket.
I don't think it was Vladimir. The silver locket.
Vladislav's the other guy.
Yeah.
Vladislav the poker.
I thought you were starting to talk about the beast.
No.
A whole nother part of the story.
We'll get there. But the whole time there's this B story about how Taika Waititi's character was in love with this girl. She gave him a silver locket. He He like has to put gloves on
He
to
has to put gloves on to
handle it. Yeah,
he can only wear it for a few seconds before he starts burning.
Yeah,
out.
he puts it on and he's like, check it out, and it starts smoking, and he's like about to cry before he takes it out. And he's like, yep, that's about as long as I can wear it. It's pretty great. So he takes the picture out, Xeroxes it, blows it up, makes a big copy of it, puts it on the inside of his coffin. And then he's like, all right, good night. And he closes the coffin. You can tell he's jerking off in there.
The coffin doors like opening, closing.
Yeah, very funny stuff. So he goes and sees her, and she's still alive, but she's a very old woman
About
now.
90-something years. 94 wasn't. Yeah, 94 years old.
So, that's been going on this whole time, and then you learn about Vladislav's arch nemesis they call the Beast. There's just like a wiener in the middle of the picture that they show. Like
It's
the
ridiculous.
old clippings are hilarious, man.
It is a chicken body with chicken legs, a vaguely human face,
like lion arms, and there's
arms.
just a dick and balls, like right in the middle of its chest.
Middle of the chest.
Yeah. Man, it must have been wild living back then, because you could just draw anything and go, no, it's real. I fucking saw it.
You.
Yeah, I fucking saw it with my own two eyes, and somebody go, that thing's out there? That's insane. I'm so glad I live behind these walls.
It's believed where the idea of dragons came from was somebody saw a salamander and assumed it was a baby dragon.
That's I can see that.
That's where the concept of a dragon.
Are you talking about those Japanese, the Japanese salamanders that are like fucking 3.5 feet tall?
Specifically, I believe it was England, but it was some European area. Medieval Europe, somebody saw a salamander.
Well,
like
I
a
could
large
see
amount of them, and assumed it was a horde of dragons.
I could see where people are like, "Oh yeah, fuck a sea monster," because there were like the Welsh catfish can reach indeterminate growth large enough to eat people, and has.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see them being like, "Well, that just happened in the Thames, so." Yeah, clearly there's got to be monsters in the ocean.
Yeah. The people believe that the Loch Ness Monster photo was actually a killer whale penis.
Yeah, I've seen that photo. Yeah, and I got to say that killer whale penis looks shockingly like the Loch Ness Monster.
Almost exactly the same.
Yeah, pretty darn close. Anyway, back on to less specific, more specific fantasy animals. So these vampires, they're all going to this masquerade ball, and there's is it vampires, witches, and zombies?
Vampires, witches, and zombies.
Nice.
Are what have been invited, because the werewolves didn't get invited.
The zombies are funny, man, because there's the one zombie that's like cognitively there, and the other two are just like, and he's like, come on, guys, just groans.
Stop with the groans.
Stop with the groaning. So they, in true fashion of a bunch of fucking idiots, they bring stew.
They bring stew.
It
didn't click in my head until, like, somebody said, is that Stu?
What's he doing here? Oh, yeah, brought him along. He's my mate.
Nick brought him along, because Nick did get banished. The ball was 2 months after that. And he turned a couple other people into vampires, so he's got his own posse going.
Mm-hmm. One of them being Deacon's
Deacon's former familiar. And they brought Stu for some reason.
Yeah, because everybody loves Stu.
Everybody loves Stu. Yeah. And that remains to be the case.
Everybody there would love to eat Stu, though.
Well, first they were having fun, hanging out with him, dancing, whatnot. People were enjoying Stu's presence, and then a couple people caught on. First, I think it was the zombie.
So, Vladislav doesn't actually come to this. He doesn't come to the event. He's like, oh, I'm not feeling myself. And he looks all old and wrinkly and shit. And they're like, well, whatever. So they go. And then they
allow me to do my dark bidding on the internet.
Yeah.
I know what you're bidding on.
Let me do my dark bidding on the internet. I'm about to win a table. Whatever. And so you go to the ball and he's not there, but you meet the Beast. And it's just a hot vampire lady. That's it. Just a hot vampire lady. So they all figure out that Stu's human, and they've got him surrounded, and they're about to fucking eat him. And then Vladislav rolls up dressed like a fucking pimp from the 80s. It looks pretty great, but he does roll up and just start a fight. They just pretty much start having a fist fight, and Stu is able to escape for a bit.
Until they come across the werewolves.
This is where they're all chaining themselves
Yeah.
up to the trees, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. And they turn into werewolves and go after him, and they have another fight. And they kill Stu. They kill Stu. Kill Stu. Eat him up pretty good.
Completely disemboweled him.
Yeah. What did you think of the werewolves?
Their design was more monster than wolf. It wasn't terrible. Wasn't a big fan of the design.
I didn't mind it. The thing that I didn't like about the design of them, because I like them being like a giant wolf-like monsters more than them just being like wolves or like a wolf on two legs kind of thing. You know, I like them as like a giant looming. They're huge.
Yeah.
Not very quick though, because of their weird stilts that they're wearing.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were very lumbering.
Yeah, and that part, I was like, wow, it would have been great if that could have been a little smoother. I don't know how you would even do that, but it would have been pretty great.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It was all right, I guess. Yeah, werewolf design,
That's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're getting pretty close to the end of the movie here. Stu dies via werewolf and turns into a werewolf, and he shows up back at the house later, and he's like, hey guys. And they're like, oh, man, you fucking... What the fuck, Stu? You're all scarred up. And he's like, yeah, I brought some friends over. And it's all his werewolves. It's all the werewolves. And they're trying to get along. And he's like, once you get over the smell, they're fine.
You just open some windows and let it air out.
Right. Oh, yeah, it's funny stuff about them, like, having this friendship. And in the meantime, Taika Waititi did bite that old lady, and now that's his partner, which I thought was also delightful.
Yeah, that whole scene was pretty neat, pretty nice. Yeah, she seemed to, because I think it was hinted earlier at the film that she she started to have dementia, that she didn't recognize him anymore. Mm-hmm. But once he turned her, then it started to really come back to her. She recognized him and kind of enjoyed being a vampire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's like, oh, I love it. I love being a vampire, actually.
Yeah.
Just a sweet old vampire grandma.
Old vampire grandma.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And then that's just the end of it, isn't it? Is there more that I'm not remembering? I think that's
there was an end credit scene with the werewolves are in like a half circle and they're just kind of messing around. The alpha is explaining that he's an alpha, and when he laughs, everyone else laughs.
Oh yeah,
but when one guy laughs, and the rest of them don't, he's like, "What you laughing at?" And he's like, "I don't know." See, got you there,
right? Yeah, yeah. That was funny stuff, man. I like this movie. Had you seen it before this?
No, I have not. I've seen the show.
Okay, so you were just kind of wanting an excuse to watch it.
I was wanting an excuse to watch it.
Which I've done before on this show as well. It's like a movie I haven't seen, but I want to watch it, so I'll check that out.
Yeah. I'm going to say something that might upset people. I prefer the show.
I don't think that's upsetting at all.
Well, some people get super defensive when it comes to their preferences.
Oh, not at all. I think I prefer the movie because it is a one-shot, digestible, hour 20-something, real breezy, brisk. That being said, I do really like the show. Mm-hmm. I like the addition of the energy vampire.
That does come with how it's a different show format. One's a show, one's a movie.
Yeah.
You just, once you're done with the movie, that's it. And with the show, there's already 3 seasons.
Yeah, and in the show, I like Nadja. I like God, what's his name? The energy vampire, Colin
Robinson. I remember his name because his name is repeated every time in full.
Yeah, I know a Colin Robinson actually. But they never call him Colin.
Yeah,
they always call him Colin Robinson.
I hate you, Colin Robinson.
And he's an energy vampire, so he'll just walk into a room and go, "Hey, Jan, how's the kids? So I tell you what I did this summer, boy. I tell you, it was sure it was hot enough out there." And he just never shuts up, and you're like, "Oh my God, this guy's droning on." It's that, like, he does that deliberately. It makes him more powerful. The one where he like gets too powerful. That's probably my favorite episode.
He gets promoted. he gets like a higher position in his office job, and he makes everyone in the office go to sleep instantly, just being like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they just knock out instantly.
His eyes start glowing and shit's very funny.
And in a later scene, his head's just massive.
Huh? I remember that. He's got hair all of a sudden.
Yeah, and there's like 3 of them.
Yeah. Oh man, I loved it, man. I love. I really hope that gets picked up for another season because I really enjoyed the last one. They had a great cliffhanger.
Great cliffhanger.
I don't want to do any spoilers for it, but it's a fun show. Check out the movie if you haven't seen it. If you like the movie, you'll like the show. Just it's a bigger time sink to watch a whole TV show than it is one movie.
Yeah, and I think part of why I prefer the show over the movie is because that's kind of what I first saw. So I'm kind of more acclimated to that setting. Of the world.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
It's a fun cast.
Oh yeah, these actors are much like the movie. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, very very funny people.
Yeah. What's the name? What's the name of the? I think his name is also Vladimir. Or no, it's not Vladimir.
Oh, it starts with an N.
It starts
Nandor.
with an N. Nandor. No, Nandor. Yeah, it is Nandor.
Yeah.
Guillermo. Guillermo.
Everybody else calls him Gizmo.
Gizmo.
Oh man, and what's that guy's name that plays Guillermo? Is that Harvey? It's Harvey something. Harvey Cullen, maybe. Let me look it up real quick. Harvey Gillen, very very funny guy. Also, kind of the backbone of that show, really.
Oh yeah, well, definitely. If there were to be, they're all in this show. They're all major characters. They all pretty much see around equal screen time.
Mm-hmm.
But if there were to be a main character, it would most definitely be.
Oh yeah, he's got the most going on for sure. So how many? If your thumbs were Peters, if your thumbs were Peters and you had 10 of them, how many Peter thumbs?
I'd probably give
out
it
of 10.
9.5 Peter thumbs.
I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna go a solid 9 Peter thumbs. If this, it definitely made the most out of its budget. But I like some of the werewolf stuff. If I don't even know if there was a way to dress it up better. If you could spend a little more money on the werewolf stuff and suffer it somewhere else.
I think part of it was because you probably could have only seen,
that's like
seconds.
That is the only big detractor from this movie, and I kind of wish it was 15 minutes longer.
I wish there was more to the werewolf.
Yeah, it feels like watching an episode of the show.
Yeah.
Just slightly longer, but I still want more of it. But yeah, I'll give it a hard 9. I think it's very funny.
It is definitely one of the funniest films I've seen.
Yeah, good. Well, good, man. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Had anyone else recommended it to you, or did you just want to watch it because you like the show so much?
When I talk about the show, I've wanted to watch it because I like the show. But when I've talked about the show, every time I hear, "Oh, watch the movie, it's better," I wouldn't really say that because there are some there are some places where the movie is better. There are some places where the show is better.
Yeah, well, the show has the luxury of time. Yeah, so
you can more establish. You can establish more of a setting, more of a universe.
Right.
It's
easier to care about those individual characters when you can give them all their own episodes and be like, let's meet a little more about what this guy's about or this gal, or whatever the case.
But every time I talk to somebody about it, they always tell me that the movie's better.
I love the movie, man. Yeah. I think it's my favorite of the two things. That being said, there's definitely much more of the series, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Here's what would do it for me is if I had never seen the movie, and instead of Matt Berry, he's the one with the beard. What is his name?
I can never remember his name. I always remember Naja, Nandor, Guillermo, but I can't remember.
Naja, Nandor, Guillermo. I will find out. Give me 2 seconds here. Laszlo. Yeah. So if instead of Matt Berry, you had Jermaine Clement to play Laszlo, he was the one in the movie.
Oh, right.
With the beard. The one that was like the sex vampire. He's like, yes, I'm very into sex. It's because I specifically think that Jermaine Clement is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's really it. I mean, Matt Berry is hysterical in the show.
Fantastic.
He is hysterical. But the exact same lines, it would be the same, but I would be like, ha, Jermaine Clement, you sly dog, you. Because it would be him instead of Matt Berry, which Matt Berry fucking nails it, though. So I'm not taking anything away from Matt Berry.
I'll probably keep the show where it is, personally, for me.
Yeah.
Because I love it the way it is. It's probably my favorite show. My favorite...
is it my favorite show?
It's not my favorite, because it's hard for me to pick favorites.
It's
but
top
it's 10.
Top, it's probably top 10.
I'd say for me it's top 5.
You ever watched Last Man on Earth?
I have not had a chance to watch it.
It's in that same realm of comedy. I think you'd enjoy it. I'll recommend it to anybody. Full cast of very, very funny people. Yeah, good stuff. What do you got? Anything else about this?
Funny. Yep, that's about it.
Funny. So you heard it. You heard it here, folks. Funny movie. So we're gonna go watch a movie that's probably not very funny.
It might be funny in a different way.
I'll be honest though. I peeped a couple of screenshots on accident, and it looks like we're in for a delightful time. We're going to go watch Lifeforce from 1985.
1985 Lifeforce.
And this is the first thing that came up when I Googled space vampires movie. So I'm assuming it's about space vampires. That sounded like a cool avenue. So we're going to go check that out. We will be right back. Here's a sponsor. Maybe fake, maybe real sponsor. Not real sure.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Keep your ears. Just keep them, I guess. Shake the bell, shake the bell, shake the bell, shake the bell, shake the bell.
Fucking Trick Stevens here. Hey, what's up? It's fucking Trick Stevens here. What are you doing?
Hey Trick. Today we're gonna be testing out the all new.
I don't fucking care which one it is.
iPhone Wiener. We're gonna test out the new iPhone Wiener.
That's fine.
It's a
Can
wiener.
I touch it?
It's a wiener. It's made by iPhone. Yeah, you gotta put it in you.
Okay. What's it do?
And then test that product.
Hey, listen, I'm the bad boy at product testing, so I don't need this shit. Just get straight with me. What the fuck does this? What does your product do? You know what I mean?
You just gotta read the user manual out loud.
What's your name? What's your name, son?
Split. Trevens. Nope. Tom Brokaw. It's Tom Brokaw. Shake the bell, shake the bell, shake the bell, shake the bell, shake the bell.
Fucking Trick Stevens here.
Brief interjection from your program. I just wanted to throw out a couple of special thanks for the folks that make this show possible. Big thanks to Brad Sexton for our jams, Lamplighter Production for our artwork, Godsized Growing for some musical guest appearances, the Missouri T-Shirt Company, and Dave, who's our YouTube editor. We probably wouldn't even be on that platform were it not for him. If you want to check out anything any of these amazing people are working on, all of their links are in the description for this episode. If you want to contact the show, you can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at It's Just Two Movies. We've got a Facebook page now, so that's on there. You can always leave us a comment on YouTube, or you can email us at itsjusttwomovies@gmail.com. Okay, yeah, and if you like the show, like, subscribe, leave us a review. That stuff helps tremendously. So anyway, back to the show. Welcome to the second half of the show, where we discuss the other movie that we watched to make this show for you, the listener. And we watched Lifeforce. It's a 1985 sci-fi horror film, 1 hour. This says 41-minute runtime. I found it to be like, what, hour 56?
Hour 56, yeah.
Hour 50
but
something.
A good chunk of it is beginning credits.
It's a lot of beginning credits, yeah. it's a chunk of it.
Yeah.
Anywho, it's got a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, 50% on Metacritic, 86% of Google users like this movie. Release date June 21st, 85. Directed by Tobe Hooper. Music by Henry Mancini. Adapted from The Space Vampires. I don't have budget, but I do have box office 11.6 million. So for 1985, I'm going to say that was probably profitable. Could you possibly find the
I'm having a hard time finding the box office
budget.
budget.
In the meantime, this stars Mathilda May, Patrick Stewart, Steve Railsback, Frank Finlay, Nancy Paul, Peter Firth, Michael Gothard. And I mean, there's some other noteworthy characters in there as well. But it's weird Patrick Stewart so quickly billed, because I would say he's not in it that much. I guess he had some level of fame already in 1985.
Yeah. How far away was this from Next Generation?
Oh God, I don't know when Star Trek.
Because the first Star Trek started. The first Star Trek series started. I think it was 1969. So Next Generation would have probably been late 1970s, early 1980s. So by this point, Patrick Stewart is established as a well-known actor.
1987.
Ooh, so he hasn't quite hit his debut.
Yeah, I guess not, of being in big shit anyway. Yeah, but anyway, Patrick Stewart's in this. This is delightful. That the bit that he's in is pretty great. I thought that Matilda May makes a very, she was doing what she was supposed to be doing. Hey, be alluring and a little bit creepy and kind of off-putting.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I can't find money numbers. However, did you know that Mathilda May had to learn her lines phonetically because she didn't know any English?
Really?
Yep.
Wow, that's wild.
That's probably where some of the off-putting came from.
Huh. Well, I thought it was great she only had a couple of lines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was necessarily too much.
Yeah. Nailed it, though. What did you think about this, Nate?
What did I think about it? The pacing isn't bad.
That's what I thought. It's weird it's almost 2 hours long.
Yeah. It didn't feel too long.
No, it didn't. It could have...
It still felt too long, but that's because every other scene was too long in itself by a few seconds. But then that kind of adds up to an hour 56.
Yeah, it's just chewing some scenery, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll the scene will end and a character will just look off into the distance for...
And then it'll switch back
a full 12 seconds.
Yeah. It'll switch back and forth every 4 or 5 seconds to what you were just watching, and then the character's reaction, and then to what's going on, and then back to the character's reaction, and then back to what's going on, and then back to the character's reaction. And if you want, you could probably loop me saying that a few more times.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be right. So okay, what happens here? So there's some NASA guys, right? I'm going to try and break this down as quick as I can so we can just talk about different parts of it.
NASA, British Space Force team.
Yeah. So they're going to check out Halley's Comet. There's a spaceship in Halley's Comet. They go on the spaceship. There's 3 naked people in a crystal tube and weird bat monster things or whatever. So they grab a bat monster and they grab the people in the naked tubes. And then there's a mind disease and somebody gets Lifeforce drained on the ship and the captain, he sets it on fire and hits an escape pod. But the vampires also get an escape pod in their little escape pods that they're already in, little crystal coffins or whatever. And they get to Earth and they're recovered. And then essentially these vampires wreak havoc until they are finally stopped at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So that's what the whole shebang is.
Most of the movie is set in London. There are some scenes in Texas. There are some scenes in space. But it's mostly England, specifically London. Yeah. Setting was all right, I guess.
Yeah, I thought so. A bunch of it, when the stuff that's in space, I was like, this looks okay.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't look like it cost a fortune, but it looks pretty good. For especially for 1985.
1985.
I wasn't like, wow, this is a real spaceship. I'm there. No, I was just like, well, that's a really good effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can tell that a lot of the space scenes were miniature works.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much it always is when it's movies set in the 70s and 80s and early 90s before CGI really became a practical thing you could do.
Well, I think some of the explosions are as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pretty much what you would do is do a quick explosion of something and then just reel the tape super fast, blow up a bit of lighting, and there you go. You've got some slow motion effects of explosions, and because it's miniature work and you're doing something set in space, it appears big. Yeah.
Most of it looked pretty alright.
It looked alright.
So,
and then we come to the CGI stuff that they did throw in. And that's not really the case.
I want to go back to the beginning though. There's so much going on with the space lore of this shit. So forget most of the common tropes about vampires. Except for the fact that they need to feed and that they can spread.
Yes.
That's it. Mind control powers, I would say that's more the main thing here.
Mind control powers is very much a thing that when it comes to vampires traditionally. However, the way they approached this in this film was kind of ridiculous. So the way they approached mind control in this film was less about hypnosis and more about possession.
Like a psychic bond,
psychic bonds and possession.
Yeah.
What's the name? She didn't have a name in this film. It was just Space Girl.
Yeah.
Space Girl or That Woman or The Vampire. That was her name.
Mm-hmm.
One of her 3 names. Her outfit throughout this film was non-existent.
Not available. They just couldn't get it.
It might not have arrived in time.
Well, I say the show must go on. So,
most of the film that she appears in, she is completely naked.
Yeah.
Titties out.
It's a weird thing to see in most of a movie for 1985 because it's not like 3 scenes.
And
you
have to remember that
it's a majority of the entire film.
The 80s was when it came to entertainment censorship.
I guess that was really right before censorship.
I think it was right at that time.
Yeah, because I think it started getting buck wild in the late 80s,
late 80s, early 90s, especially when Mortal Kombat became a thing, because that's kind of what really set it all off.
Wild.
So, this film, set in the 80s, non-existent outfit. There are some scenes where it's... Okay, so it is full-body nudity, which is not normally present in these types of 80s films.
Yeah.
There are some scenes where you actually do see full frontal nudity.
Yeah. Yeah, one's on like a zombie mummy, mummy zombie. So what these vampires do, well, that's a good jumping off point. Full bush to how the vampires work. But how the vampires work is they drain your life force, which is like a crackling blue and white electricity.
Your life force trademarked.
Yeah, TM. And so they drain this electricity out of you, and you turn into like a shriveled raisin person. And then in 2 hours,
if you've seen,
you will briefly come back to life. And if by chance somebody stops to try to help you, because you are just a skeleton at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" then you can suck out their life force, and then you'll be back to regular. But you have to feed on more life force every 2 hours.
Not every 2 hours, as long as you don't take 2 hours, because at that 2 hour mark is when you're done.
Yeah, right. Boy, their metabolism has got to be insane.
Oh my God.
It's so they can turn into those bats.
Like if you consume enough, that's when you turn into a bat.
Gotta get ready for that bat metamorphosis.
I don't know. There's a sequel, so
Batamorphosis.
We might. There's possible more lore to it.
Yeah,
possible.
Is the sequel even called?
It's Lifeforce 2.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Wow. Let me give that a quick Google, actually.
And while you're doing that, I have another fun fact. Speaking of the full frontal nudity, here's a goof. When the space girl, because that's her name, gets off the table...
It just takes me to the regular life force.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I saw an image for the Sequel.
Oh, it's Lifeforce 2 discs.
Oh.
Boom.
Oh, there's not a sequel. No, what a shame.
And it's a joint support horse supplement.
What?
Yeah.
Lifeforce.
Yeah. It's $27.95 on Chewy, baby.
Oh. Let's see here. When the space girl gets off from the table and faces the man, on her reflection on the window behind her, she's wearing red underwear. That's a fun fact. That's on this website.
Huh. Wow, that's our famous segment, Fun Facts from our website. Good night, everyone. So, what,
Any other fun things to say about this movie? The soundtrack. Because I'm a music man. The soundtrack definitely caught my ear. That's about it.
It's pretty good,
yeah,
but just for a different movie.
Right. It does not fit the setting. There's been multiple times where the cadence of the film, the cadence of the music does not fit the film. Towards the end of the film, the main characters come across the lair. Is cathedral, was it?
Yeah. It's like a cathedral kind of thing.
And when he comes across it,
she's sending vampire energy up to the mothership, which I want to come back and talk about the mothership.
Yep. So when this one guy comes across the cathedral, you'd expect, because this is the final showdown part of the film, right? So you'd expect something epic, something dramatic, like brum brum brum, something like that. But it's just the main theme,
or at the very least a womp womp womp. Just the flat fucking. You know what I'm talking about?
It's just the.
No, actually, I thought the climax of this was pretty good. Yeah. Carry on.
The climax was good, but the music didn't fit. It was just the main theme again It was a little. I only noticed it like 2 or 3 times, except for sometimes I'd be like, oh, this is kind of a snappy beat. Yeah, I liked the music. It was very well done. Whoever they hired to get it, to make it, did a great job. It just didn't fit the film. It didn't fit. You can tell that they were trying to go for character themes, because there were certain differences when it came to the different cadences of the music, different note progressions, different melodies when it came to presenting various characters. But it wasn't really done well with the theme of the film. That's kind of my main gripe with this, is that it's well done music, just didn't fit.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I'm going to bring up Star Wars, because they did a fantastic job of using, because there's a Vader theme, there's a theme for Leia, there's a theme for Luke, and each time these characters are brought up, you hear the music, and it fits well. This film was trying to go for that, and failed. They did a good job with the music, it just didn't fit.
Yeah, I could see that. I didn't notice it that much. There were 1 or 2 times that I picked up on it. I was like, well, that doesn't seem...
Yeah.
It's the wrong vibe, I guess.
We mentioned earlier
what do you got?
So we mentioned earlier that the film was... we thought it was an hour 46 or something like that. But the version we watched was an hour and 56.
Oh, there's multiple cuts?
There's 4 cuts.
4? Why? Did we watch the longest one?
We watched the 3rd longest.
Motherfucker.
So
how long's the shortest one?
101 minutes. So it's an hour and 41 minutes.
I bet that's the best one.
It's the most cut version. So the version we watched was an hour and 56 minutes, 116 minutes, and it's got, let's see here, voiceover, just the whole voiceover at the beginning of the film. That was cut in the fully cut down version.
Yeah.
Describing what the mission is. It's not there anymore.
Doesn't matter.
So if you were to watch that version, you would have no idea what's going on. what the name of the ship is, who are the characters, none of that. You just have to learn that through watching the film. Of which the film did a terrible job of introducing things like that. So, let's see here. Conversations have been cut. More cut conversations. More cut conversations. Spacecraft scenes. Conversations. A lot of unnecessary things were cut. Things. Let's see here. Comments. Things. Stuff that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's see here. I'm trying to find the most necessary thing that was removed. And all of it is unnecessary. Oh, the kiss between Armstrong and Carlson is removed. Oh, Patrick Stewart it got kissed from Carlson because of some weird hypnosis thing going on.
Yeah.
That was cut. Again, it's the 80s. You can probably guess why. So was another kiss. Yeah, there were multiple scenes that were kissed, either because it was unnecessary or gay.
That's silly.
So, the second longest cut is 128 minutes, which had apparently most of that time. Apparently, that extra 12 minutes was just more space and spacewalk stuff.
Yeah, that sounds right. So,
and the longest version is the original unedited European version, which I can't find the time for. And apparently it has more violent and erotic footage, TriStar Pictures cut from the domestic version.
that's the one that's just straight up called Space Vampires,
Yes. Yep, that's the Italian version.
right? Yeah.
It also contains the full Henry Mancini score. That probably explains why the music was pretty good. In place of the occasional Michael Kammen's music cues, which probably explains why some bits just didn't mix well. There were definitely some parts that I've noticed that not only it didn't just mix with the film setting, but also with the rest of the music itself.
Yeah.
That's probably why, because in the version we watched, there were two musicians going at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so essentially what goes on here is that Steve Railsback plays Colonel Tom Carlson, and he's your main guy.
Yep.
Because he was one of the astronauts on the NASA ship when Space Girl sucked some of his life force but gave him some of her life force, so they're psychically linked or whatever.
I think she started gaining some of his life force, but then she gave some of her power to him. It seems like this movie would have done better as a different project. A different, more erotic project.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that's where I was trying to go with that joke.
Imagine an hour and 46-minute long movie-style pornography film.
That had
an actual story
psychic brood.
With weird, yeah.
I think that would be all right. That would be fine. I don't. Surely there's a way that you could remake this in a modern sense, and not like I'm saying you should remake it, but let's say that was your task. What do you? How would you approach this? Because I like the mothership in this, but if I was going to redo it, it wouldn't be that. It's like it looks like an uprooted tree with an umbrella on top of it.
Yeah. So
it runs off life force. So really, the spaceship it's an organic thing that is an extension of the aliens.
It's basically a giant space leech.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just a big space leech.
I don't know how I would approach this. I
say disconnect from the vampire thing entirely.
Yeah.
Because you could tweak this a bit and it not be vampire-y at all. But I like the idea of the brood, you know what I mean? The unseen thing that spreads or whatever.
The only thing that makes them a vampire is stealing life from another creature. Which
Life
force trademarked.
Trademark.
But most importantly is their weakness, which isn't even. It's It's a tangential comparative thing to a vampire's actual weakness, which is silver or steaks or garlic,
Which everybody knows.
which everybody knows.
That. You got a vampire problem, you give it steaks and it'll go away.
Either the wooden one, or you just give it a good steak and it'll just leave you alone.
Yeah. Good center cut, you know. I love it.
In this film, their weakness is, he says it's leaded iron, but it could just be lead.
Right.
He shoots a couple zombies.
About 2 inches below the heart.
2 inches below the heart. That's where their Lifeforce trademarked is centered. He shoots, one of the guys shoots a couple zombies there, and they explode with their Lifeforce trademarked flying out of them and into the mothership. I think for like the main...
So that'd be the liver.
That would be the liver.
Yeah, it'd be the liver, it would appear. Both the liver and the stomach are located in the lower chest region under the thoracic diaphragm. Oh, that's under the diaphragm, so that's more than 2 inches. I don't know what's 2 inches below the heart, man. We were talking about it a little bit during the movie, and I'm like, well...
Could it be the spleen? Or is
No, I don't think so. Because of its central location in your chest, the heart is close to a lot of other vital organs. Your heart is located behind your sternum, between your 2 lungs. The heart is located closer to the front of your chest. In front of your esophagus and spine, below your heart, is your diaphragm, stomach, and liver.
So it's the diaphragm.
Yeah, I guess you just have to puncture their diaphragm and they're fucked.
Your Lifeforce trademarked is stored in the diaphragm.
Don't get me wrong, I would rather not be stabbed in the diaphragm. That sounds like a really bad deal. Sounds like it would make you feel gassy.
If you were to be stabbed, where would you prefer to be stabbed?
Oh my god. Let's not. Let's just not.
Let's avoid that question.
Fuck, man. I guess, man, I don't want to be stabbed in the leg, though. I don't want to be stabbed anywhere. Fuck. God, yeah, I guess I'd take one in the leg.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. It sucks not being able to walk. I feel like it would heal the fastest.
I would go for the leg, but like close to the edge, where you're pretty much only getting the skin and part of your muscle.
You can't. No, that's not. That's getting cut.
I'm trying.
That's getting cut, Nate, not stabbed. Semantics, you know what I mean?
Semantics, they're fun.
So, what was I saying about this fucking thing? Okay, so you get the vampire lady, she gets loose or whatever. They cut down the other 2 guys because they fucking unload.
Oh yeah, there's 3 of them.
Yeah, the other 2, they're like, why was there 3 in the first place then? Because they needed another explosion. You could cut those 2 guys out of it.
I think they needed them so that the main characters have a test subject to learn their weakness.
I guess.
Because that's how one of the scientists learned that it's iron. Leaded iron.
He might have said what organ it punctured, but it seems
he didn't say what organ he punctured.
It seems like they all just turn into potting soil on the inside after.
I think it's supposed to be ash, but it was very more closer to a dirt consistency.
Pretty granule.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like maybe a dark roasted, maybe it could have been coffee beans, man. Could have been coffee grounds. I don't know what it was. I mean, I'm curious to know, but it was like a ashen, but not ashy looking. It just looks very granular.
It just looked like dirt.
It's what I'm saying. It was gritty. It was a gritty stuff.
Like a sand dirt kind of thing.
So they would just be a crust and that stuff on the inside.
Yeah.
Some of them would explode. Some of them would just die.
Could have been unmixed concrete.
Could have been unmixed concrete. A little bit of Quickcrete.
Yeah.
Quickcrete. Contact me at It's Just Two Movies on Twitter and Instagram. It's Just Two Movies at gmail.com. Send me an email, Quickcrete, about how you would love me to endorse your Or stop talking about your product.
Hey, Danny, this is me, CEO of Quikrete. Please stop talking about us. Thanks.
I'll do it for $1.
Do it for $1. Give me $1. We'll stop
Keep
making fun of you.
Concrete's name out of your mouth. Oh, that's all the topical references I'm gonna do ever. So what else about this, man? Like, okay, so the weird tree umbrella thing.
Yep.
I like the fact that it was organic. Like they're like, oh, it's a life form.
So the
like, that's
umbrella
cool.
shape was very close and resembled of a bat wing.
That's what I hate about it. That's the thing I don't like about it is the weird umbrella up at the top. Like it could just look like anything.
I think they're trying to go for like a sail, I guess.
Yeah. Then what's with the roots at the back of the... Like, why does the rest of it look like a tree? A straight and narrow tree.
Answer that.
Yeah, it's very weird. Maybe it was rooted somewhere originally.
Maybe.
And now it's flying through space looking for a new place to, whatever it does.
Maybe it was a giant structure built by these vampires, of which how would they even exist without, like, how would they evolve to the point of space travel and not just, again, their metabolism is 2 hours, and if they don't feed by then, they die, right?
That's after consuming a human person.
Well, I would assume it's not specifically humans, because it's
like a hive mind.
Yeah. Because they didn't know English, they didn't know what a human looked like until the human craft came close enough for them to read the minds. Okay, whatever, I'm okay with that. My problem is, how would they evolve to the point of space travel without dying from not eating for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Like, I would assume it's a planet full of these guys.
And how come they look like humans?
So they look like humans because I assume they can shapeshift, I assume.
Yeah.
That wasn't very well explained.
Because sometimes they're a big bat. I liked the big bat monster.
That thing was pretty cool.
I like the big bat monster.
Yeah,
I thought it looked pretty great.
It looked like a bat, but it very much was an alien bat.
Yeah,
thing.
You didn't get much of it, but it was a fucking neat looking critter.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
I don't know that the wings were necessary. I don't really buy wings on an alien. Because
maybe...
I mean, not like it couldn't happen, but...
there were hands on top of those wings. So it wasn't like the bats that we are already accustomed to, where the hands are the wings.
Right.
There's wings and also hands. So they've got the opposable thumbs. They can build things. They were able to evolve to space travel. And that's the end of my thought.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I guess they could have wings. It really wouldn't matter because it is kind of like a hive nest thing that they live in, assuming that originally came from another planet. I would make this definitely make it geared more towards it's an organic hive mind alien situation.
Yeah.
Because they kind of unnecessarily lean into the vampire bit, and it's already like 30 steps removed.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only thing about
it's a bat monster, and
it's a bat monster.
Yeah. Which I dig though. I like the bat monster. It makes sense that they're vampires in this. Yeah. I mean, like present day though.
Yeah.
Damn, because I would kind of want to keep the bat vampire thing. Or the bat alien look at that. Just kind of the vibe of it. Yeah. Its weird face and shit. It was cool.
It would be cool if we were in this hypothetical, we were to do it ourselves. To, instead of having that as an animatronic, because that very much was an animatronic, it was barely moving, and places where it was moving looked very rubberized.
Yeah, okay.
You can tell it was pretty much bolted into the ground because it was extremely stationary. I would instead have that as a costume and have that with an actor on strings.
I'd do it as CGI and get Andy Serkis. That's what I do.
80s CGI?
What?
Because this is an 80s film.
No, we're remaking it present day.
Oh, remaking it present day.
Yeah, remaking it present day. What would you do about it? They're remaking everything. They're remaking everything anyway, Nate.
I think I would still go
literally everything. How many new things have you seen come out? A handful. I've seen a handful of them. But I also am doing a movie podcast and watching all kinds of weird shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's. I think. Yeah, no. I would still go for the costume look, though.
Yeah, no. I'm not. That would probably work fine.
Yeah, You know what? Yeah, I'd still go for the costume look. Actually, you don't see a lot of films these days with the.
I do.
Oh, you do?
I see a lot of films these days.
With.
Got you. Fucking got you, Nate.
Got me. But there's not a lot of films with that kind of low budget in mind. You're not relying entirely on computers. It's mostly practical effects kind of thing. You've got costumes. Like, the most prominent newer film that kind of went for that style was the remake of was it a remake or a prequel of Dark Crystal?
There's a prequel series.
Prequel series of Dark Crystal, and they stuck to the...
I haven't seen it.
It's... from what I've heard, it's pretty good.
I've also heard it's pretty good. There's one of the hosts of a podcast called Stuff to Blow Your Mind. It's like by How Stuff Works podcast. One of them has commented about like watching it and be like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. Because I love the original Dark Crystal and just puppets in general, and I like that shit. I don't know why I like the aesthetic of it, but I do.
It's great.
It's weird when they can actually make them like uncomfortable to look at and kind of creepy and shit. They hit that nice uncanny valley.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's probably what I would go for, is to keep that kind of general style. Except instead of having it an animatronic, I'd probably throw more bad creatures in this film.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to still keep the whole transform into human and blend in kind of thing, but to have more of those bad creatures, they're missing out, because that was a really cool character design.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That was neat.
I probably would have preferred for it to be a person in an outfit, because that thing was huge. You could very much fit a person in that thing.
Oh yeah, it was massive. That's true. Big critter.
Pretty neat. Whoever designed that thing knew what he was doing.
I would dial up the effects and maybe just like speed this up. Give me 2 less main characters. Like the Patrick Stewart thing didn't even need to be like none of it needed to be. But I was just like, oh shit, Patrick Stewart. The whole them meeting him, the information that he gave them. They could have just like hung up a phone and been like, it just came in over the radio that blah, 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 blah.
Within that 15 minutes, all they learned was that people can be possessed.
Which we already knew. Right.
It was entirely unnecessary. That would have cut 15 minutes out of this film.
It was a chunk of it. But it was delightful seeing Patrick Stewart. Yeah. Maybe I would dial up the Patrick Stewart, just give him a different role.
Just give him one of the main character roles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the grizzled detective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or the lead physician or whatever whatever the old dudes were. I guess
I will say that
present day.
Who is the actor for the detective, the London detective guy? He wore that trench coat.
Oh, that would have been Peter Firth.
I would keep him.
Yeah,
he did a great job.
Yeah, I thought he was great actually. He was probably the most convincing role in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, you've got Steve Railsback. He's great in it, but he just makes this fucking crazy face where he just stares off into the distance, and you're like, "What's going on, buddy?" And it's hard to tell kind of what he's going for, and he's really got a Norman Bates in Psycho.
Yeah.
Look to him. I found him to be a bit odd at some times in it. I would probably
have Patrick Stewart play that character.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart, present day.
I mean, he looks the same.
Kinda.
He kind of looks the same. Yeah, he acts the same. He's still a phenomenal actor, in my opinion.
Man, I don't really know who I would get for anything in this. Like, I can think of the people that I would cast it as. I can see their faces when I look at the faces of these people, but I can't think of their names or anything that they're in, or I would just Google it. I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, I mean, I guess really you could get just about anybody as long as they were decent. This would probably be a good exposure film. If you could get one familiar face in this, like a Patrick Stewart, or just get Patrick Stewart, to come in and be like a physician or a doctor or something like that, and to be like a consultant in it for most of the movie, kind of like a tag along. Maybe has an honorable death towards the end or something like that.
Yeah.
That would just be another fun alien disaster movie, but with you would need somebody who can take the direction to really lean into the fact that it's like the hive mind control horde, because that's the scary part.
Yeah.
But you have to lean into it in certain terrifying realizations, several back to back, I would guess. But any director that would kind of lean into that part of it, make it psychologically thrilling.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Denis Villeneuve, or who else does a good fucking psychological thriller? Like Jordan Peele, David Fincher.
Oh yeah, Jordan Peele. I was trying to remember his. Yeah, I should have remembered his name instantly because I'm aware of his other work.
Like anybody who can lean into the uncomfortable part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the part that would make it a good, thrilling fucking story. And then absolutely throw in some fucking body horror and shit like that. People love that shit, or it makes them uncomfortable, which also kind of still does the trick.
Yeah, that is part of the psychological part.
What was it? Hitchcock said to torture your audience for 70% of the movie or something like that.
Something like
torture
that.
the audience as often as possible.
Well, he was also good at torturing his actors as well.
Oh, he was a fucking nightmare. But he broke ground for a lot of stuff that we get now. As most groundbreakers are. Awful. What? How many space thumbs? If you had 10 mummy thumbs.
There were
how many
mummies in this film.
By the end of the movie, they're all zombies. It's the craziest fucking thing. I mean, I guess they're supposed to be energy vampires.
Supposed to be energy. They're supposed to be Lifeforce trademarked vampires.
Lifeforce trademarked vampires. That's true.
And they all still get their Lifeforce that was left in them taken, and so they die a second time.
Yeah. Except for not later, because then they're zombies.
It's what?
I don't know. It's wild. Anyway, how many zombie mummy thumbs would you give this out of 10? If you had 10 thumbs, how many thumbs?
One hand, just a 5.
Just a 5-pack?
Just a 5-pack. Give it a hand.
I think I'm gonna give it a 6 because I glanced at a couple of images and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm into that.
You're talking about Matilda, right? The images of Matilda.
Oh, no. I looked them all up. I was like, I recognize these motherfuckers from like present day shit. So I was looking up all of their stuff and I was like seeing what they look like present day. And I was like, man, she looks pretty much the same. With a little plastic surgery goes a long way, I suppose. Or maybe not. You know what I mean? Who fucking knows? Some people just age like a fine wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how many? You said 5?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Yeah.
For effort. I like some stuff in it. Like I genuinely like some stuff in it.
Yeah, there was some really good stuff about this film.
It's not so bad it's good. It's actually a pretty solid effort that's just short of the mark in a lot of places. But it's like a movie today, man. The fucking movie where Ryan Reynolds is like, I'm running a heist and I got a bunch of buddies and they drive fast cars and this is a fast car movie. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
That movie was like a 4. Like it wasn't even just okay. And I like Ryan Reynolds. I like his shtick. I think he's a funny guy. It just wasn't good. And I think this is better than that on the scale of just being a movie that I watched.
Yeah. My issue with Ryan Reynolds, real quick, I like him. He's really good. The problem is everything that he is, it's just Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just playing himself and everything. Yeah. He's in some dramatic stuff that's actually not bad. There's one where he's like, he loses his daughter and he's looking for his daughter and he's in the woods or whatever. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not fucking phenomenal or anything. It's just, it's an okay movie about that same thing that you've probably already seen.
Yeah.
It's just a common trope film, but Ryan Reynolds is in it. It's pretty good. Like, he's just doing a dramatic role. It's pretty good. There's that movie where he's buried alive. Haven't seen that one in a really long time. Don't know if it's good or not. We did the movie Voices on the podcast. That movie's outstanding.
I absolutely love that movie.
And that's not him being Ryan Reynolds. Like, that's him acting a role, and that's a great fucking movie.
It's just, you really start to see, especially with his more recent films.
Well, yeah. That's what they want him for.
Pretty much right after he got the Deadpool role is when he really got all these Ryan Reynolds roles where he's just Ryan Reynolds. Because it happens to be that Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Yeah. Yeah.
His shtick really fits with that character.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, like I know Deadpool came first, like a chicken or the egg kind of thing. But it makes you wonder.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder at a certain point if they just started writing Deadpool more like Ryan Reynolds in an attempt to get him cast as it in the future.
Yeah. Like it was intentional.
Maybe they seeded that entire campaign. Oh my God, that'd be great. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, that's it for the rating. Let's do the other segment of the show.
Hey, what you watching?
What you been watching, bro?
Watching. Good. Watching.
You don't say.
I haven't watched a lot of things.
What have you been listening to, Nate?
You know what? I've watched
what kind of video games you been playing, Nate?
Games. There's a small indie.
What kind of books you been reading, Nate? Just jump back and forth between all of them. No, please go ahead.
For a little bit I've been watching The Great, which is I think it's based in the 18th century.
Oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah. Russia, about...
Yeah, my folks watched that. They said it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. Yeah. I'm already aware of Catherine the Great. And yeah, there's some inaccuracies, but that's kind of what you get when it's a comedy film. Comedy show. Series, show, whatever. Which one is it? I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
I finally caught up and finished The Witcher Season 2.
Oh, yeah. My mom's been watching it. She likes it.
Yeah, I like it too. I'll be honest with you, the whole political structure of it, I think at a certain point they think that they just kind of assume that you know a little bit of it or can fill in the gaps.
That's kind of the problem with
and
The
I'm not
Witcher
real sure what's going on with that.
The big problem with The Witcher is that if you're not aware of the general story, they haven't really explained it very well. It just kind of jumps right into it.
Right.
I'm currently playing through a small indie game called Rogue Legacy. If you're aware of the roguelite genre, stuff like Dark Souls is probably the most well-known.
Okay.
Where if your character dies, you kind of start off at starting, well, not really Dark Souls, that's kind of its own thing, but it kind of tangentially is part of that whole idea where you're playing a character, and if your character dies, you start over. But you have some ground to start off again, and as you just play, the further you get... well-known games of this genre is Spelunky, Binding of Isaac. So Rogue Legacy is kind of on that, except here's the kicker. Each time you start over, there's a whole new trait. And when I say trait, I mean you could have colorblindness, you could have dwarfism, you could have ADHD, which increases your character speed. You could have dyslexia, which makes it impossible to read things. Like the letters get jumbled up and you can kind of tell what they're saying, which as a person with dyslexia makes it terrible. But it's hilarious. I love it. You could have gigantism, which makes your character huge. Mm-hmm. You also carry a bigger sword with that. The problem is your hitbox is bigger. You get hit more easily.
Yeah.
So I purposefully avoid picking characters with that. Because each time you die, you have 3 characters you can choose. You could have dementia, which makes you see enemies that aren't actually there. So you swing at them and your sword goes through.
That's cool. What's this called?
Rogue Legacy.
Rogue Legacy. Yeah. That sounds cool, man.
It was free on Epic Store. page if you play PC games.
It's a PC game?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think it's all consoles as well. It's like $15, but I got it for free. And I was like, I'll try it out. And I'm in love with it. And another game I've been playing, I'm 100% serious. I'm not playing this because of recent events. It's called...
Slap Click Chris Rock? Is that what it's called? Risk?
Risk? Kind of. It's called Metro Exodus. It's a post-nuclear game.
I bet you have been playing that because of recent events, you son of a bitch.
It's a post-nuclear game based in Russia
Oh.
after the nukes drop. It's a series of games kind of 20 years after the nukes drop. You're in the metro, the underground roads, underground train roads of... Train roads?
Underground train roads. I got you.
Roads for trains.
Yeah.
For underneath Moscow. And it's been 15, 20 years, and each day goes by and you're losing more and more track, losing more and more tunnels to the radiated monsters that are slowly taking over. That's kind of the series. Well, with Exodus, I think it's the third or fourth game in the series, you leave. That's kind of the general idea.
I got that.
Exodus. You
Yeah.
leave. You find out that life exists outside, and that's it. I'm not going to give you any spoilers because it's fun.
That sounds all right.
Basically, why I got the game was because it was free.
Yeah.
But I downloaded it because I bought a new mouse. My old one was starting to die. I started going shopping. There's this $80 mouse that just got put on sale for $32.
There you go.
And I found a $25 gift card that I had for about a year, and it still worked.
There you go.
So I basically spent like $14 out of pocket for this mouse that I love, by the way.
That's awesome.
And I was just trying different games, testing it out, making sure it works right, making sure I tune it correctly. I have huge hands, so to finally have a mouse that fits my hand, it's great.
Yes, sure. You got big meat mitts.
Meat mitts. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Hit me right here in the meat mitts, baby.
So, yeah, I like the game. I played it first to test my first-person shooter capabilities with this mouse, and I'm going to keep playing it because it's good.
Nice. Well, I don't get a ton of time to play video games. I did for like almost a whole day the other day, and it was glorious. And I played a bunch of shit that I've already played before.
Yeah.
Instead of trying anything that, like, I had a whole day, I could have sunk my teeth into anything. And instead, I played 3 other games that I play all the time. I played some, a little bit of Pokemon Unite, which normally wouldn't, like, I don't get down on the card games or anything like that, really. Not to say that they're bad or anything. It's just not my jam. But this is like a competitive kind of battle royale point scoring game, which I find delightful. I played Rocket League, as I am known to do, and then I played some Tetris 99, and I also played some fishing adventure, something like that. A fishing game. It's a good one though. Fishing. I think it's just
Fishman,
called.
or the Legend
called
of Fish.
I think it is just called like Fishing Legend or something like that.
Fishing Simulator 2022.
It's a lot of fun though. Well, I love a good fishing game, and there's very few of them out there.
Yeah.
And this one could have some very easy improvements and would be a better game, but all in all, it is a fun and challenging game. There's a little bit of grind to it, but not until you get close to the end of the game. But yeah, I do enjoy it very much. I do have some games I'm looking forward to playing, but more on that after I actually ever get around to playing them.
Yeah.
As far as reading, I had a guest refer me to a comic book series of King Spawn, and I was fortunate enough to actually... I had planned a trip to my comic book store, and I still haven't gone. But they happened to have it at GameStop, and I was there with my kid picking something out. So I was like, "Whoa, sweet! I will take this, please, thank you."
Wouldn't expect that in GameStop.
Yeah, so it was issue 1 of it. I really liked it. I'm looking forward to when I do finally get to my comic book shop, picking up the next couple volumes, because pretty good. Artwork's incredible. As far as watching anything, I feel like I watched one thing that was like, that's all right. Not very memorable, though, I guess. I can't remember what it is. All right, man. Let's go.
You guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Let's go, talk! We're a one-eyed Batman!
Can I make a suggestion that doesn't involve violence? Or is this the wrong crowd?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
The Jedi, Bob. We don't fight with guns, we fight with our mind.
Cousin, businesses are booming.
That is one big pile of shit.
Jog on.
It's Just Two Movies is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios and can be found wherever you get your podcasts.
He's just, a cat.
He's
just
with
like
his face.
with Jermaine Clement's face. Oh my god, dude, it floored me.